Two businesses sell the exact same product. One makes $1 million in sales. The other struggles to survive. The difference isn't the product. It's psychology. In the next few minutes, I'll show you 7 psychological triggers used by the world's smartest companies to make customers buy instantly. And the most powerful one is the last trick, because it quietly controls how people think about price. Most entrepreneurs think selling is about features. Better product, better design, lower price. But the biggest brands in the world don't compete that way. They compete using buyer psychology. If you don't understand this, you'll keep losing customers to businesses selling the exact same thing. But once you understand how the brain makes buying decisions, something interesting happens. You stop chasing customers. Customers start choosing you. And there is one psychological trigger that companies like Apple, Amazon, and Nike use constantly. A trigger that quietly makes people comfortable paying more money. But before we get there, let's start with the first principle. The human brain is wired to fear missing opportunities. Psychologists call this loss aversion. People feel the pain of losing something twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining it. Smart businesses turn this into a sales advantage. Instead of saying, "This product is available," they say, "Only 5 left in stock." That small shift triggers urgency. Amazon uses this strategy constantly. When you see a product page saying, "Only 3 left in stock, order soon," your brain stops comparing options. It switches to decision mode. And this increases conversion rates dramatically. But scarcity alone isn't enough. Because when people feel pressure, they ask one question: "Can I trust this?" And that's where the second trigger comes in. Humans copy other humans. In uncertain situations, we look for signals from the crowd. Psychologists call this social proof. If thousands of people trust something, our brain assumes it must be safe. That's why Amazon reviews are so powerful. A product with 5,000 reviews almost always outsells one with 50 reviews. Even if the products are identical. But social proof isn't just reviews. Look at how Nike markets their products. They don't just say their shoes are great. They show professional athletes wearing them. The message becomes, if the best athletes in the world trust this brand, it must be good. And that instantly removes doubt. But trust alone doesn't make people buy. People also need a mental shortcut to justify their decision. That shortcut is the third trigger. Your brain rarely judges price in isolation. Instead, it compares prices. Psychologists call this price anchoring. The first number people see becomes the reference point for every other price. Luxury brands use this strategy brilliantly. For example, Apple. When Apple releases a new iPhone, they first present the highest-end model, usually priced above $1,000. That becomes the anchor. So when customers see another model priced at $799, it suddenly feels reasonable. Even though $799 is still expensive. The comparison changes perception. But once someone believes a price is fair, another question appears in their mind. Am I making the right decision? And smart businesses answer that question using the next trigger. People trust experts. When an expert endorses something, it reduces risk. That's why companies constantly use authority figures. Think about Colgate toothpaste commercials. They often say, "Recommended by dentists." That statement instantly increases trust. The same thing happens in online businesses. If a product is recommended by someone with expertise, people feel safer buying it. But even with authority and trust, customers still hesitate. Because buying always carries risk. So the smartest businesses remove that fear entirely. And that brings us to the next trigger. One of the biggest barriers to buying is fear of making a mistake. Smart businesses eliminate that fear with risk reversal. Meaning, the business takes the risk instead of the customer. Look at Amazon's return policy. Customers can return most items easily. This removes the mental barrier of, "What if I regret buying this?" The same strategy is used by Zappos, the shoe company famous for offering 365-day returns. When customers feel safe, they buy more. But something even more powerful happens when businesses give value before asking for money. And that's the next trigger. Humans naturally want to return favors. If someone gives us something valuable, we feel an internal pressure to give something back. This is called reciprocity. Many successful companies use this. For example, HubSpot. They provide tons of free marketing tools and education. By the time customers consider buying their paid software, they already trust the company, because they've received value first. But even with all these psychological triggers, there's still one factor that quietly influences every buying decision. And this final trigger is the one used by the most profitable companies. Too many choices create decision paralysis. When customers feel overwhelmed, they delay buying. Smart companies simplify the decision. Look at Apple's product lineup. They don't release 30 phone models. They release just a few carefully structured options. This reduces confusion and speeds up decisions. Because when buying feels simple, people buy faster. Once you start understanding these psychological triggers, something interesting happens. You begin to see them everywhere. In advertisements, on product pages, inside successful businesses. Because the companies that win in the market aren't just selling products. They're designing buying decisions. And if you want to understand the deeper psychology behind why customers say yes, watch the next video on your screen. In that video, I break down the biggest sales mistakes most entrepreneurs make, and how to fix them.